Right, I've hit the record button. I am starting the episode. Let's do this. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft server. And before us, the glorious, beautiful sights of the now finished Hermit area at the very heart of our Season 5 world. This is the spot, the location on top of which we built the massive underground project, probably one of the best projects I've ever seen in Minecraft. And now Scar has just been working like an absolute trooper for the last few months. If you're liking the look at this abandoned hermit city that resides above the underground area, the place to go and find out all about it is on his channel, where he's just done a whole bunch of videos decorating this area, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is full of abandoned buildings, and I kind of wanted to start off this episode just by strolling over here and saying, hey look, this is done. this is finished, and I never thought I'd see this day, and I never thought I would, because I really wasn't of any help here at all. Scar did it all by himself. He's been a real trooper in putting this together. If you happen to be watching, Scar, appreciate you ever so much. This has made this central area just so wonderful, and I've been watching it on his videos, and now I'm just coming here, looking at the ruined structures, being absolutely fascinated by this project and the gorgeous terrain that Scar has constructed. I mean, this is some next level Minecraft going on right here, and it's an honour to be on this server. Man, I'm getting all emotional and teary now. Oh jeez, look at these amazing builds that are technically, you know, ruined and and trashed to some extent. Oh, it's good fun. It's good fun playing here on the server, and so glad to see this project finished. Let's get out of this area. I'm going to chuck an ender pearl over there. By the way, I've been gathering some materials while I've been playing on here for the black hole project. We need loads of concrete powder, right? So, and glass, that's the other thing. So yeah, might have gone a little bit overboard, but we have a plentiful supply of materials. We can smelt sand into glass, and we can mix the other two into concrete with our ink sac dyers from our ink farm. Yes, anyway, we're going to get to that later on, because right now what I want to do is head over to the gaming area, which is just somewhere off in the distance. When you see a giant pig in a boat, you know you've gone too far in the wrong direction. The gaming district is in fact just over here. You can see the giant mushrooms. That one's particularly giant. I think that looks a little bit odd. Oh, I remember when they added that into the game. Just one snapshot, it was like, hey, giant mushrooms now. And we're like, oh, okay, that's what we were all asking for, wasn't it? More slabs and stairs? No, have some giant mushrooms. Anyway, we're here to just stick our head into the Hardcore Hermits project just for a moment, just for a quick moment. So you can see it's still moving along. It's got a long way to go, but it's very dark, and those three are still congregating in this area, having a little talk. We won't intrude on them. We'll leave them be. We'll give them their silence. During the live streams where I've been working on that, we actually found something just off in the distance. Bam! And we hung out there for a little while and suspected that a certain mumbo jumbo might have been the culprit of this of this new area, and it turns out it was Mumbo. He put out an episode a few days later after my live stream, so I'm sorry that I spoiled what he was working on. This looks fantastic. I'm loving this grass around the outside here with the bushes and the flowers. GG Mumbo, that looks awesome. Oh, and it comes right over to... oh, this is superb. Is the game called Go? It's called Go. It's simple. It's got a little instruction board just here. We're going to come back later on in the episode and play this for sure. But right now I just wanted to have a look at it because it looks so cool. So, Hermit Flies, the aim is simple. Fly through the hoops and finish the course as fast as you can, and time how long it takes and put your best score in the record book. Start timing from the moment you lift off the launch strip and stop when you hit the checkered blocks at the finish line. Good luck, and try not to die. Mumbo, record book, firework rocket. Let's see if anyone's actually put anything in here. Wow, so Mumbo, 22 seconds. It's going to be a very brief game that we play later on. The idea is that you use your rockets and you hurtle yourself through the first objective up to the next one. It's kind of like an up, down, left, right. You'll probably smack your head into some things on the way. Oh man, oh, it's actually called Hermit Flies, right. That just there looks absolutely wonderful, doesn't it? Rightio, enough about Mumbo's minigame for now. We'll be back there later on, and what we got to do at this moment in time is work on the black hole, which has actually come a fair way along since we last saw it. it kind of doesn't look like much has changed at all, because you just look down and you see a big black space. But over there on the side, can you see it coming together? And that concrete powder there, giving it some more texture. Can't really see the regular concrete down below. That turned out to be a good decision. And so now what I've gone and done is gone around here several times over. You can see it's sort of built up around the side here. And if we drop down below, there are now several layers of glass, as you can see as I jump up and down, or sorry, fall down from them, I guess. So it's all working out really well, and I've just got to keep building that up at this point. There is actually, wow, just what, 1 or 2 more layers to go here? At least with the glass. Then I guess the concrete powder is going to keep creeping its way upwards after that. Anyway, we have this problem with the water, right? Which is why there's not so much done over on this side, because the water is going to turn the concrete powder into concrete. So I've started clearing it out over on this side and putting torches over it, because mobs are going to be able to spawn in that area over there. So that's something that we need to consider. Also started clearing it out a little bit on this side as well. So in general, just making lots of progress all over the place. Another thing we need to do in this area, though, is down here. It's going to be kind of hard to see. I think I've got a potion lying around somewhere. Well, apparently not. Anyway, if we plummet down into the water here, notice how there's all this gravel sort of going around the side, and that little patch right there is actually me extending it over. So what we're going to continue doing, and this will be the next thing that we do, is bring the gravel all the way around to where it matches up on the other side, and then just throw down a couple of sand patches like we got there, just in and about the place, to make it look a little bit more authentic and natural. So yeah, why don't we just jump ahead and do that? So there could have been perhaps a better method to creating the terrain here, as it does look a bit wonky in places, but around the bottom, covered it all with gravel going around the sides. It blends in really well, and then put a bit of a sand patch over here, which from different angles can look a bit odd, but overall it looks pretty good, right? And so most of that terrain now looks pretty reasonable. And I think what we'll do next is hop on the underside and get rid of all the water down there. It shouldn't actually take too long. We've got quite a lot of it to work with though. Let's throw an ender pearl through there. And I'm not terribly prepared, but the main thing that I need to begin with is sand. And as you can see, we've got a sand wall over here. So I need to section these areas off in order to use the sponges effectively. So we will probably start with this little ledge here. Just place all the sand in, fill in this space, and then drop down some sponges. So because I got torches in the offhand, you can see that occasionally I am placing them down, then they get popped off and drop down to the bottom, and it lights up the floor. It's really quite wonderful, and that's because I've turned on the dynamic lighting, which usually is on, but we're using the Schematica mod and it had been turned off. Anyway, this one's super helpful because you can just put a torch on your offhand and see what you're doing, but I love the way they drop down like that. It has been a little bit of a grind, but I am loving the work that we're doing over here, and the whole area has been opened up and we're removing the final part of the curtain that lays in front of it. And it leaves us with a big open space that we're not necessarily going to use, right? We just had to get all of the water out of there. And as soon as I say that out loud, I realise, well, I could have just gotten rid of the water closer to the front, right? But it's done now, it's all been removed, and wow, that is quite the sight. This is all space that we have now created. Like I said, it's not going to get used though. So the area's now been spammed with torches. I believe this is going to cover all of the dark spots, so no mobs can spawn out here. Of course, remember, this is the ocean biome. On the opposite side, when we have caves and stuff that are hidden behind what is now the black hole, we don't have to light that stuff up because it's part of the mushroom biome. Yeah, there were some caves out here I was trying to show you. Oh, might that be a spawner? I have heard skeletons the entire time I've been working on this area. There was a skeleton dungeon right here the whole time. That's kind of hilarious. Alright, let's get in here. Oh, and try and light it up, I guess. Hi, there appears to be quite a few of you hanging out. I'm just going to stand back here while you shoot each other. That's a good idea. Shoot away. Nothing too good in there. Nothing too good in there. I mean, what did I expect at this stage of the game? Of course there wasn't going to be anything good. And do you know what? While we're in this area, hanging out on the glass, we should really get rid of this. It's totally unnecessary now. I do not need this ladder at all. So, I was looking at Optifine on how to turn off those connected textures, and it seems to have messed up this over here. That does not look like a translucent emerald block. This is what the black hole is currently looking like. Let's go ahead and turn off. Bam! All of that. Kind of excellent. Like, it's just a big black hole. But from the next point onwards, it gets really interesting because then we are bringing the concrete up alone. It's not going to have the glass anymore, and then we're going to have to sort of blend it in with the surrounding area, right? But we're not quite done here. I've done up to the floor below. This is the last floor of glass, and as you can see, I just built up this little corner over here. So we will keep building it upwards. Man, that looks really funky with the purple on every time. Let's go and hide it. And still just looks like a giant black hole. This is kind of crazy. There's absolutely nothing that you can really see there in the middle. Wonderful. And I feel like we should be checking this from a different perspective now because we're really starting to get to the surface and I've noticed a couple of things. So let's fly up into the sky, get away from the island a little bit, turn around, and yeah, it is really just a big black hole. Oh, it's absolutely crazy. I think the next stages for us are kind of crucial because we've got to make this really blend well into the area around it. Now, what I didn't realize is just how much this is pushing out, and as I was digging away the terrain from below here, I kind of realized that, man, this is getting super close to this biome over here. So we're going to have to do something special in this place, I think. And I've been wrestling with two different themes for the black hole. One was to have like a military structure around it where this has sort of been cordoned off and it's an experiment. And the other one is to kind of mix it into the environment and make it look like it's having some strange effects. I don't know, nether warts popping out of the ground, stuff like that. And so over on this side, it kind of looks like that it's currently overhanging it a little bit. So that got me thinking that maybe what we should do is have some of these trees kind of, their roots coming down into the black concrete and mixing with it, and maybe some of the trees are overhanging. And that's the stage that we're at now, really. With most of this stuff, we've got to figure out how is it going to blend with the surrounding environment. So I figured this is probably the best place to start. So first order of business is to make sure that the water is kind of secure behind other blocks. So that'll be a combination of dirt and roots, which I've just added in a few of here. And feeling quite confident at the moment. I mean, some of those roots are stretched out wide a little bit, so we're going to have to find some other blocks to kind of cover them up. But here is where I think we need to have an overhang effect, as opposed to what I was originally thinking, which is maybe this concrete could sprawl back up again, which I don't think makes much sense. And here's another problem. Wherever there's water, if it leaks down onto this stuff, it's going to change a load of it to the wrong block, which would be a huge pain in the butt. So if it is going to be an overhang, it means that this shape needs to continue going backwards, and it can only go so far. So there's water above that block. If I break this one, yeah, it might spread everywhere. It would seem that if I just don't dig any higher than this height right here, all of that dirt is where the water is above. So no need for this little water catchment thing, although it would have changed a couple of blocks, I guess. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're working with. So we're going to bring the concrete all the way up to the edge there and then wrap some of the vines down over it. I said vines, I meant roots. Let's add some more. And then it happened. Did I? Oh, I literally did just dig too high. Too high up. I wasn't particularly paying attention to the height, and I was like, I don't think that one's got water above it. Of course it does. Great. Great. Now I've got to rip out these blocks and place them again. As evidence of this piece of rotted flesh, there was clearly a zombie in this area. And I thought to myself, why is it that I take my sword off of my hotbar thinking that's useless, that then a zombie spawns? Well, they could probably spawn just over here now, right? They can spawn on these blocks that are coming out from where the glass is. So, easy solution for that, probably just to put carpets on top of it, right? Then we don't have to light it up, then things won't spawn in it. And anyway, this is how this is looking at the moment. I think I need to throw in some leaves around here, and maybe an occasional piece of glowstone so light comes out the bottom. I think that could kind of look cool. Now this is just what it needed, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, I feel like it needs something else. Fence posts might work, just sort of coming off the root here. However, I don't think it should be the baked bean wood colour, right? Anyway, I've got some birchwoods and oak leaves in my inventory, and I was just thinking, man, this is the perfect time to use the birch because it's got a little bit of a duller colour than that up there, and that kind of makes it look like this down here is a little bit more rotten, a little bit more dead perhaps, and yes, I mean that's working. I just think we need a few more things going on here, and then it will look really good. So I feel like things are going kind of well. The black concrete, it's a tricky texture to mix in with other ones, right? But it's sort of blending its way around, and then I've been thinking about what is actually going to go in this space here. Oops. I think what we'll actually do is have the swamp biome sort of extend around here, right, going all the way around the black hole, so it kind of hides it a little bit if you're looking at it from the outside. So the fact that we built this up here actually kind of helps us do that, because if you look at the edge of the swamp over here, it's the same dealio. So we'll put like a second layer of I was going to say wood, of dirt underneath here, and then we can rip out some of those blocks and put water on top, just like this over here. So that kind of works out. I haven't ended up doing something that I didn't need to do. And now I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, you know, that needs to go straight across there, and it's kind of going to overhang the black hole, and this thing has come up way too close to this area here. I think I made this thing way bigger than I had an image of in my mind. So yes, it has taken up a lot of space, and this over here looks kind of odd. So I know we have spent like a ton of time this season talking about the volcano, placing down loads of these different blocks. Of course, what we do is we grab our stone, our cobblestone stairs, slabs and cobblestone, and andesite, and just throw it all down randomly to create that shape. Well, around here that's kind of been neglected a little bit, right? As you can see, it's all a bit messed up around here. To this point, so we need to work on that next. I think we want to tidy this up over here, bring it around the side, and then when it slopes down from above, it's probably going to end the swamp over on this side. And so I think rather than trying to mix the swamp with the black concrete over here, we'll start mixing the volcano and the black concrete, and that will create like a bit of a slope. But first we've got to bring it around, and I'm also looking at this tunnel and I'm thinking we could rip out a section there. It could come this way a little bit, and then maybe it could connect with this section right here. So you could walk from the inside of the base to the outside nice and easy. Because what I've been doing is walking through here or flying through the lava at the top of the volcano, and it's a little bit silly, to be fair. Right, the very next thing I need to do is get some black wool down on, or black carpets on these blocks. Keep having zombies wander across, having to slay them and whatnot. Over here, though, brought the volcano down, and kind of like how it mixes with this block right here. It looks really good. And we still have a lot of the kind of naturistic look of that side over there. I think what we need to do is thin it out a little bit around here, and then go total black concrete powder and these rocky blocks for the rest of the side, probably leading to somewhere around here-ish. And then I don't know how we're going to transition after that. But what I want to focus on right now is this little tunnel connection and bridge. I think those will be cool things to do at this point. And let me hop over here, walk around there so you can see that I've filled in all of this. I can't remember what order I said I would be doing things in, but one thing I've always noticed in this game is you seem to put your shulker boxes where you're going to be building, because I'm going to be building over there a little bit more soon, and earlier they were right down here. I never seem to pick a good spot to put all my shulker box stuff, right, for the project. I just tend to throw it down right next to where you're working, which generally ends up being where you're working. So we're going to have a lamp there, and I think we're going to have the cave extending through here as well. Yeah, this'll work. So you can see that I've kind of pulled a little bit of the theme behind me, right, with the iron blocks, and that's because I couldn't remove that one there. So then we got some stone bricks, which helps tie things in. I think maybe what we need to do is get some of these blocks and splash them through here, so there's a bit of a merge to the grass, which is actually going to be changed into a path block. I'm just trying to encourage it to spread at the moment since I've run out of my supplies, but that's what this bit in here is looking like. From all angles, this looks pretty great now. I actually really like the green grass. I was about to say I feel like we haven't used enough of that in the base. We've got an entire ring full of it. Just in the main part, of course. Yeah, that actually sort of looks okay. I don't know, this is a little bit odd, but it kind of makes sense. Just putting in some finishing touches now, some awkward finishing touches. At least from the perspective of the front, the black hole itself. And after hitting record, I noticed that the sun is going down. That's always great, because darkness ain't too good for videos. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. So my idea was that we would have like a gap that's the same on either side. So You've got 2 gap there and a 2 gap there, and then the next pillar will anchor down into the ground like that one does over there. But then in the middle, I wanted to have it sort of coming out of a rock formation, and that looks just all too obvious to me. So I think what we might need to do is change a couple of the blocks here, try and make it look a bit bulkier. There's too many stairs going on there where I've tried to minimize, I guess, the size of it by using those sort of shapes. Let's go grab an andesite block, just chuck that on the side there. Removing that helps a little bit. Maybe we want another stair block just in that space there. Let's actually rotate it that way. Just kind of looks too obvious, right? Like it's leaning out to support that thing. Or maybe it's too high. Maybe it needs to be like a block smaller overall. So the whole thing is looking pretty great at the moment. Especially that bit right there. That looks so much better now that it's been lowered. And it's just got me excited for what's coming next, really. While I've been working on this area, I've been envisioning some ideas for this area here. But we've got a lot of work to do with the swamp, because what I'm going to do is, just like I said before, turn all of this right here into swamp and have it overhang the black hole. And I think that's going to look really, really great. I've also just noticed by stepping back that there is like a whole row of stone bricks at the same height here. And I think it's always a good idea to break that up a little bit, so we'll be able to see a little bit of the black there, and maybe we'll just put one here as well. Another cool idea, by the way, is to have little bits of it like that showing where you've got a block above and in front of it. Anyway, we are done with that for today. We're now going to go and play Mumbo's game, and chests are invisible for me on the server today. What we're going to do is make some rockets that only have, let's actually take that right there, that only have, what is it, flight duration 1, because those will boost you for longer. And I was watching this video, seems like it's a good idea to use the shorter ones. And you know what, I've actually got tons of this stuff, so why don't we bring some over there and stock up the game for him. So it turns out the Mumbo already had a chest for the stuff over here, so I made that chest bigger and put more rockets in it. And I'm taking off my armor because there's a pretty good chance that I might splat into something, right? And then I'd lose my armor. But then again, the armor would reduce the splat damage. Splat damage. It's a new technical term, peeps. I think I'll keep it on then. So if I die, I've got 4 essential items that I need to pick up. Before we actually play, let's go and get a good idea of what this is going to be like. You go up through there, then you go down underneath, you come up again. Everything's going to happen real quick. You're going to go through here, then through there, and then through this tunnel, and then you go up and the track changes colour, so it's up like that. Turn around, go over to the side a little bit. So once we've gone through there, we go here, then that one, and then we have to plummet down into this thing. Whoa, that's kind of tricky. And then keep using your rockets, get on the ground, and at that point it might be a game of running to the end, which you're going to lose quite a few seconds on. So it's a relatively short game, right? I mean, Mumbo's time was 22 seconds. And Mumbo built this as well, so it's probably pretty fast. But let's go back to the starting line. And I guess I'm going to have to use the video recording to time this. I hope this area is lit up well because it's night time now. 30.5 seconds, not bad, right? Well, if you look at my hotbar, it took all of the food that I had and 63 rockets to do that because I had many attempts. And we're going to walk through some of the things that are really tricky about this because I'm sure when I talk and play this, we're going to run into some problems. But before we do that, obviously I want to grab some more food. But we have a map over the other side of the district, and I noticed earlier that it had been updated, but only a little bit. So if we have a look here, you can see Mumbo's game is done up to a point. Actually, it kind of looks like maybe someone just updated the top map and then not the bottom. I have no idea who done this, but let's go back and update these quickly. Right, there we go. All up to date, looking very fine and fancy from over here, right? That's awesome, that game. Let's go sleep in the bed. Let's gather some more rockets and food and give this thing another shot. So I would say there are 3 key aspects to this game. One of those is learning. The more you learn the course, the easier it becomes. You know when to twist and turn, and that helps a lot. Another one is skill. You do actually have to be quite skillful to aim yourself flying through these hoops. As you saw in my run, I kind of hit the top of that one over there, and that was really unfortunate. Took an extra few seconds off my time. The third thing I would say about this game is that when you fail hard. It's one of those ones where you just sort of turn around if you got it wrong, right? So this one right here I would commonly hit and then fly up into the air, which really sucked. And as you saw right there, I tried to use a rocket to come through here, and I accidentally deployed it on the block because I was very close to it. So that is another problem that I've had quite consistently with coming down into this particular bit here. And getting out of here was always a nightmare as well. Let's try that again, because you've got to aim upwards very quickly. So let's do that again. We want to get through here, then look down, and kind of went over a bit too far, and I can't get the wings out again, but we'll keep on going. And again, knowing where to go, I went upwards instead of straight on. And it's even more difficult when you're talking, peeps, trust me. Right, and now this one here is the one that messed me up, and I needed to use a rocket to get through that last bit in time. Maybe that was a bad decision. Maybe I should have just dropped down. Because another thing is speed, right? Got to do this fast. Right, good start. Want to twirl around, get down here, use that rocket. Excellent, excellent, and hit the wall at the end. Oh, goodness me, we're hitting lots of stuff. My health is low. In fact, my health is very low. I don't want to continue. Let's pretend that my health isn't low and I'm not scared right now. And we've just whizzed up the top of there. Oh, we're doing so good. Our time is amazing. We didn't just fly off into the distance. Now, this bit is super tricky because I don't think you actually want to use your rocket, do you? And I got pulled into using that. Right. And that's the other thing. When you're underwater, you want to keep using the rocket quickly because as soon as you touch the ground, your wings are no longer deployed. And then you're swimming the rest of the way. Here we go again. Right, going to try and concentrate best I can. Oh, that was nice. That was very nice. And you had to... And you landed on top of it. Jeez, well. For educational purposes, I'm going to keep on going. So one rocket there. Right, and I think you're supposed to just use the rocket once and make the turn tight enough to come through here with momentum and then drop down. Why did I stop flying? Did my elytra break? No, I must have clipped a plot going through that last bit. Oh, I'm not having much luck, am I? Yeah, timing when and where to use your firework rocket seems to be quite essential. And given the hard difficulty curve, as soon as you hit something, it kind of throws you off, right? So getting a score as good as Mumbo's, man, I don't think I'm going to be capable of that. But we'll take the book and we'll type in Suma dash 30.5 seconds. Yay! And must not click sign. Must click done, right? There we go. I haven't accidentally signed it. Wonderful. Let's chuck that in there. And let's pick up my items. Well, it's been a lot of fun playing on the server today, but that's all I've got time for. If you're not aware, Hardcore Hermit Season 2 has started. Go and check it out. It is a scavenger hunt where us hermits, our teams, have to gather all the items in the game. It is pretty crazy. But anyway, that's it from me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, then leave a like as always. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.